coming. Okay, thank you very much for coming to today's Sanskrit class. So today is our 14th Sanskrit class, and as I have shown you last time, we will probably start reading Rig Veda, start the reading, how to say that, the reading program from September. So the Sanskrit grammar course, I plan until 15. So actually, we will have 2 Sanskrit classes in August, and then 2 Greek classes also in August. But for the Greek classes, as I explained, the grammar is planned until 10th. So actually, on 28th, on August the 22nd, we're going to read Iliad from. So actually, this one is for Iliad reading. So we will start reading Iliad from the 22nd of August. Yeah, and then for the Latin class, we'll also have 2 meetings. But actually, I'm not sure if we can finish all the, not all, of course, but the most important grammar points in August. But we will see. Yeah. And in August, we have the 2nd Germanic and the 2nd Slavic class. And for the Germanic, the first meeting is actually devoted to a very general introduction to Germanic linguistics. So the second one, we will start learning the detailed grammar of probably first Gothic, and then Old High German. Old English, I'm not sure, but probably Gothic and Old High German will be the first things. Yeah. And of course, we will read some very short paragraphs. Yeah? And for the Slavic, again, we will start with the introduction of the historical grammar of Old Church Slavonic. And in September, I actually plan the first Iranian class on the 1st of September. So for the Iranian class, we focus on the Old Iranian first, like the Old Avestan and Old Persian, of course, yeah. And later, I mean, in the following Iranian classes, we will probably analyze or check the Middle Iranian materials, like the Khotanese, Yutianyu, or Sogdian, and or Bactrian, and so on. Yeah. Okay, so this is basically the plan for August and September. Since actually today is the 1st of August, so it's probably the day for planning, yeah, for schedule. Okay, so probably we can start our Sanskrit class today. So for the Sanskrit class, I have, as I have explained earlier, we're going to talk about the word building. So put it in English, it's word formation, but basically it's nominal stems. Yeah. Okay. So how can we build the substantives? How can we build the nouns? Yeah. Right. And probably the second part we can talk about compound. Compound in Sanskrit, and compare with, of course, with Greek, and probably with Avestan. Yeah, we will see. Yeah. Okay, so first part, the word building. Yes, of course, this is included here. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, it is included here. Yeah, Pāṇini is here. Yeah, we will we will read some sutras from Pāṇini. Okay. Okay, so let's probably start from something familiar for all of you. I will use Stenzler, the Chinese version, but you can read the Sanskrit words. The Chinese translation is not that important. Yeah. Okay, so this is the Stenzler. Wait a minute, I'll make it a little bit. I need some space here. Yes. So this is Stenzler point 289 or 290 and so on. So actually there are two terminologies you have to keep in mind. So first one, suffixes can be divided into two, according to the traditional grammar. There are actually two kinds of suffixes. The first one is called clit suffix. Clit suffix. And the second one is called tadita. So we find it here. Wait a minute. So this is clit, right? And then the second one, we find it. Yeah, I couldn't find it in the grammar. It's, wait a minute. It's fine. Yeah. 291哦，是吗？ wait a minute. Okay. Here, the second one is called tadita. Tadita suffix, right? Yeah. Okay. So the difference is the clit suffix derives from the root. So actually, is from the root. But this one actually not directly from root. I mean, the origin is of course the root, but the direct basis, 就它的直接来源，它是一个名词或者是一个已经本身是一个派生词了。So actually, so kind of for nouns or already some derivatives, yeah, derivatives, yeah, derivatives, yeah, okay. So let's take some. So this suffix is one of the most yeah, how to say, the most popular. Yeah, okay. So you have it like this is one of it called suffix, right? So you have jaya from G, right? And you have udaya from E, right? And you have upadesha from dish. Yeah, okay. And so on and so on. So basically, see, it is built from the root. So the root is bu, and then we have baba, right? Okay. And then we also have ana, ana suffix. You have gamana from gum, right? Yeah. Okay. And also as, this is also very common. Like manas, you have man from man. So it's directly from the root. Yeah. Okay. And also, this one is also important. It's called tra. It builds actually instrument or the method and so on. So like patra, you build from pa, right? Okay, so from pa, and the present is called pibati, right? We will come back to this. There's a mistake here. So this one, this is actually not correct， 就这个事实上是错的，我们待会儿来分析一下。OK， so this one is actually not from pa drinking, it's from another root. Okay, and vastra is clothes from vas to wear clothes, right? Okay, and netra the eyes from the root ni to lead, so something leading you, right? Okay, so it's an instrument. Yeah. Okay, and then there's also another suffix called tr, and tr means nomen agentis. So tr is actually nomen agentis. So nomen agentis means actually the actor, yeah. Act, yeah. Or behavior. Behave, how to say that? Yeah, agentis, the doer, yeah. Actor or doer, yeah. Okay. And so on and so on. Okay, and then under the tadita suffix, this is kind of, I don't know how to translate it. Probably this can be translated as primary, and this is secondary. 就这个是初级的，就这个是延伸词缀，或者派生词缀，就是初级词缀，就是派生词缀。Okay, and then inside this category, 基础派生词和二级派生词。OK， 好。And then there's also are, but you check it. So 烧茶 is from 烧气, and 泡茶 from putra, right? So this is kind of inside this tadita. We also have R suffix, an example like pautra, putra. Yeah, so this is basically the two categories. So clit and tadita. Yeah. Okay. So probably let's first take a look at the information and the explanation in Pāṇini. So this is actually traditional Indian grammar, right? As Stentler already mentioned. So let's check Pāṇini. So Pāṇini, we use actually this book. Probably you have already seen. Yeah, you have already seen this book several times. Yeah. So it is made by Katre, Ashtadhyayi of Pāṇini. Yeah. So the so the suffix or affix is a very, very important chapter or part in Ashtadhyayi. And the affix or suffix is called pratyaya in Sanskrit. So suffix is Sanskrit pratyaya. Yeah. Okay. So prati, I think you know. So prati is kind of towards. Yeah. So actually, this comes from go. Right? So it's something like going towards something. You put something after or inside something. Yeah. And Pali, of course, you have pachaya, right? So due to the typical sound change in Pali, it's called the pachaya, right? So it is typical sound change. Ch goes back to tia, palatalization and assimilation, right? And this pla, if it is at the beginning of the word, it becomes a pa, yeah. But inside the word, it becomes a double p, yeah. 就是梵语的 p2。在巴利语如果是开头的话，它就变成一个 p， 然后如果在词中间的话，它会变成一个双写的 p。OK， 然后这个 tia 变成那个双写的ch， 就是一个 palatalization， 就是硬腭音化，然后再发生那个 assimilation。OK， okay, so the suffix called pratyaya So let's probably just read some this is kind of the basic principles, the very important, the very basics of the Pratyaya. So the third the third Adhyaya, the third chapter, is devoted to Pratyaya. I think not only third, but also the following. Yeah. So this is actually the very first sutra of the third Adhyaya. It's Pratyaya. So it's pretty simple and direct. It tells us that, well, this chapter is about suffix or affix. So to be specific, it's actually affix. So it can be put inside, after, or before, I think sometimes. Yeah. But then the second sutra tells us, well, it is parascha. So para means after. So para means after. So cha is very important. I mean, cha in Pāṇini is really important. You cannot ignore it. So cha in Pāṇini, I have to put it here. So this is very important. You have to keep in mind. Cha, I mean, means end, right? So it cannot be simpler. 就这个是一个不能再简单的词，对吧？就只要学过一天梵语课，学过一天语法的人，肯定是应该要知道这个词，就是 end， 对吧？就看上去是一个非常非常简单的词，但是在帕尼尼语法当中，它是不能随便省，也不能随便加的。对 ，cha means that this second sutra, how to say that？ 我先用中文讲一遍。就这个 cha 这个意思是告诉你，它需要用到前面的经文，就它不是单纯一个 end， 是告诉你。我这段经文的内容是基于上一段经文。So cha means this sutra is actually based on the previous sutra. So it's kind of a way to simplify and to be concise. Yeah. Okay. So we are talking about sutra. We are talking about suffixes, and the suffix. Or affix, sorry. The affix is actually introduced after an element. So it's a specific element, yeah. Okay. And this element is actually explained in the later sutra. In Sutra 91, we can just jump to 91. So in Sutra 91, wait a minute. Yeah, so in Sutra 91, it is also very, very simple. It contains only one single word. So what is the word? The word is called datoch, all right? Yeah. So datoch, so now comes the first question. Yeah. First question. So what is the case of datoch? Which case? And do you need some options? I can write it here. Yeah. First genitive, second instrumental, third ablative, and fourth locative. Yeah. So what is your yes, it is ablative. Yeah. But grammatically, for U stem, genitive and ablative are same, right? Really? Wait a minute. The word, this is a governing after. Yes, if you pay close attention to after, yeah, right. But it also means, yeah, it also means that you know the meaning of after. 就是在帕尼尼语法当中，如果你想表示在什么什么后面，那我们默认的规则是用 ablative。genitive 的意思呢是 in place of， 就是取代。genitive 的意思一般是那个取代的意思。OK。instrumental 是我没怎么太看到过。locative 是before 啊，然后 ablative 是 after 的意思。就是如果你要用如果你想表示这几个意思的话，需要用这几个格。So if you want to say after something, and this something should be ablative, right? And if you want to say before something, this something should be locative. Okay. If you want to say instead of something, you have to put this something in genitive. 能明白吗？这个是帕尼尼语法非常非常重要的，就是这个是一个原则性的东西，大家一定要记住。就你如果不知道这个的话，你就无法读下去，就是这个帕尼尼语法是无法读下去的。就是这个是 instead of something 呀 ，in place of instead of something， 然后这个是 after something， 这个是 before something， 这个大家一定要记好了。需要好吧，我默认大家至少已经听到了。但是你能不能记住的话，你可能需要再重复一下。Okay, so this sutra tells us the affix or the suffix, right? If you talk about after something, it is actually suffix. 就你既然说在什么之后了，那肯定原来是词缀的意思，对吧？就是原来我们这个词的话，你应该翻译成就是它在帕尼尼语法当中，它严格来讲，它应该叫 affix， 对吧？但是呢，你一旦确定了，他说，在一个东西的后面，那我们就可以把它翻译成 suffix， 因为 suffix 实际上是后缀的意思，就是它来自那个应该是 soup 吧，应该是英语和应该是拉丁语的那个 soup， 如果没记错的话，应该是这个词就是hing off 或者是unten unmittelbar hinten。应该是这个词，就是来自拉丁语的 soup， 对。然后那个 affix 的话是来自拉丁语的那个 ad， 就是affix， 实际上是来自 ad 加一个 fix， 然后 suffix 是 soup 加一个 fix， 就 soup 是 after，ad 就是一个单纯的 toward， 就是朝向，所以就是相当于 plati， 就这个 ad 实际上就相当于这个梵语的那个 plati。Okay, so this sutra is also very simple. It means that we should add the affix after a verbal stem, a verbal. Actually, well, the translation of dhatu, so dhatu, actually, sometimes you can translate dhatu directly as root. Yeah, okay. But here, this verbal stem, well, it's not wrong, right? Yeah. Actually, you put the affix after a verbal root or the root with some changes. Yeah. 就是这个原则上来讲的话，这个 dhatu 这个词，我们实际上是认为是词根的意思，就 kind of root。Or to be specific, it's actually verbal root. 这个是动词词根，但这里的话，它把它翻译成词干，那事实上也没有问题，就是因为你可以把这个词根某一个词根当成一个词干嘛，对吧？比如说，我们就去看那个什么 asti 这个词，那这个 as 你可以说它是一个词根，对吧？也可以说它是一个词干，它相当于是一个非主题，就是 aśmatic, right？然后呢，所以这个应该没什么大问题，就是大家不用太介意这个。是 stem 还是 root？ Okay, so this is this is a kind of crass reference， 就是在帕尼尼语法当中，它有非常非常多的那个 crass reference， 就是它经常会说到一句经文，然后呢，它告诉你去参考下面的其他的经文，然后这个就是可能你可以说这是一种帕尼尼语法的逻辑，这是一个非常重要的帕尼尼语法的逻辑。就是 crass reference， 就经常会引那个说明，就是引用其他的经文。所以说，帕尼尼语法绝对不是入门语法，它是对于已经熟悉了，就是 so actually Pāṇini grammar is actually not a introductory Sanskrit grammar. It's not for beginners. Not at all. It's not for the beginners at all. It's actually for someone who is already well versed, quite familiar with Sanskrit grammar, Sanskrit language, but tells you how to systematically analyze the language. 就它告诉你是如何系统的去分析这个语言。Okay. Okay, so then you see this sutra also refers to false adhyaya. 就是我说的，就是第3章是词缀，然后第4章其实也是。So let's jump to 411. So 411 is here. It's a little bit complicated, but we can check it. So ni up pratipadikāt. Yeah. So check it. Ni up pratipadika. It sounds nothing, right? Ni and up. What is ni and up? And pratipadika, probably you can check it in the dictionary. It actually means a nominal stem. Probably, yeah, you know it. It's okay. I don't need to check it. Yeah. So pratipadika, it means nominal stems. So again, this is at. So at is ablative. So again, after something, right? And this is a compound. And this compound means expressions ending in ni or up. So what is ni and up? I think it really looks so weird, right? Is there anything like ni in Sanskrit? I don't think we can find it. So I put ni. So yeah, so basically for ni, you have to, I can show you the result. If you check ni in Sanskrit dictionary, ni is like this, right? Sorry, ni is we transcribe as a bigger chi, right? And e is like this. So there's nothing like this, right? I can also check this dictionary. So ni, right? So there's nothing like ni. Yeah. And what is up? Up, yeah, we have up actually, but this up is something quite different. So we have up, and this up, we can check it also here. So up, we know up. Yeah. Up is a root called obtain, reach, right? But certainly, but this P is written, it's a bigger P. It's not a simple P, right? So capital letters is actually grammatical, how do you say that? It's actually technical terms. So these things, these 2 items are actually technical terms. Yeah. So termini, if you put it in Latin, it's called termini technici. Yeah. Okay, so actually technical terms. Yeah. And how can we know the meaning of these technical terms? Yeah. And now we need to check the dictionary of, we need to check the dictionary of Pāṇini terminology. This is one thing. And we can also check the edition by Böttling. So the edition by Böttling is actually the earliest one providing the information. So let's probably first check Böttling. So this is a grammar by Pāṇini grammar by Otto Böttling. He's also the author of our Sanskrit dictionary. So let's move to the final part. So on the final part, there's a wait a minute. Yes, so this is Erklärung der grammatischen Elemente. So this part, grammatical element. Yeah. So if we want to read Pāṇini grammar, there are actually several important books we need to check, and this is one of the most important one. It is the Pāṇini grammar by Göttling, and you can check. This is published in. Well, this is a reprint, right? And the original date is 1887. It's more than 100. I think it's about 100, 300 years. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to check this part. So first, we can check up, right? Yes, right? Up. Okay. Yes. So here. Oh, sorry. This is short A. We need a long A. Sorry. Up. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so check it. So this is an explanation of up. Yeah, it's called. It is the feminine ending of r. Yeah. So if you have a feminine word, you have long a, right? We can have several examples. I think you all know. Long a is feminine, right? And then what is this ni, right? So ni, we need to go to this part. So this is letter ni, this is letter right? And then ni here, it is the feminine suffix e after the loss of the Stummerlaut. How to say that? The unspeakable or not unspeakable, unpronounced consonant. So actually, ni, we actually have several variants. The first one is called nin. Second one is nip. Third one is nish. Yeah, okay. And then after this, daran werden Kasusendung and Tadita gefügt. So after this, so it refers to our sutra 411. So after this feminine suffix e, we can add case ending and also Tadita suffix. Right? Okay, so this is the explanation for ni and up. Yeah, okay. And then let's again move back to this one. We're not going to read a lot. I just want to show you the explanation of the nominal formation in Pāṇini grammar, because our focus is actually on the historical part. Because I'm anyway Indo-European. I'm teaching Indo-European linguistics, not Indian grammar. Okay, and then the third sutra is called Adi Udatascha or Udatascha. Yeah, sorry. And again, we have this cha. So this cha means that this sutra is based on the previous two, yeah, not previous one. Yeah. So it means that the affix, so 就是你们要学会看这个书，这个书其实写的非常好的一点就是，它把所有补充的信息都帮你列出来了。就是so it means that and this cha, the affix number one, the axis number one means the first sutra. The first sutra is the affix, right? 就这里还比较简单，就是这个其实大家不用写也看得出来，但有一些经文是必须要写出来，你才能更明白一点。就是我们如果直接看的话，真是不能看明白的。就是像这种就已经非常简单了，就是后面有一些经文的话，一定要补出来你才能明白他说什么。因为他有一些经文并不是直接引用前面一两条的，它有可能是引用前几十条，或者是甚至前一书或者前两书，大概这样。Okay. And then we need the second sutra, means after. So the affix number one, sutra number one, which follows sutra number two after. the verbal or nominal stem, verbal is Sutra number 91, and nominal stem is Sutra 411, respectively, has high-pitched udatta， 就是这个是声调就是它是往上升的，所以大家可以看到了，凡是增补的部分呢，它都会放在中括号里面，就这个是中括号里面，就是这个是表示增补的。然后呢，括号外面呢，这种的话就是经文的翻译，也就是 high pitched， 这个是我们原来有的，对吧？udatta 这个是原文里有的，所以它没有放在括号里面。凡是放在中括号里面的都是补出来的，然后这个往往是非常非常重要的。Okay, so the affix actually has a high-pitched accent on its first syllables. So what is this adi? Adi means beginning. Beginning refers to the first syllables. So first syllables. So here you can see that in the Pāṇini grammar, the common Sanskrit words have specific technical meaning. 就是平常我们看梵语的一些非常平常的一些词，实际上在这里都是有特殊的那个语法，或者是就是特殊含义的，就不是一般的意思。Like cha means based on the previous sutras, and adi means the first syllables. And udatta is, of course, itself is already a technical term, so it's just so, yeah. Okay. And then this is not very, it's not very difficult, right? Yeah. Okay. But we can ignore the examples here. So the examples are really complicated. So this example, this part, you find it in Kashika Sutra. So probably we can talk about the structure, not really structure, the systems of the Pāṇini grammar. So at the very beginning, we have 降调. Oh yes, yeah. This is udatta. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Is. Where is is? Yeah. Yeah. Where is? Oh no. It means it's a compound. It's a separation of compound. 就是这个连字符，这是 a connecting symbol， 这是一个复合词嘛，然后就把它连在一起的意思，不是意思的意思，对，就是把它连在，这是一个复合词嘛。这复合词的意思是什么呢？This is 好吧，我现在来问大家个问题。So now the second question. Now comes the second question. Yeah. Which kind of compound is adiudatta? Yeah. First, tatpurusha. Second, kamadadaya. Third, bahuvrihi. Yeah. Fourth, dvandva. Okay, yeah, great. 是你们两个人在的话，这个问题其实不是问你们两个人，你们这种明显肯定知道的，我当然不是问你们的，对，你们可以 keep silent， 对，OK， 好吧，对，这个是一个 bahuvrihi, so it means that something having udatta on the first syllable, right? So it's not describing udatta, of course. It's not describing udatta. It's also not describing first syllable. It's describing something having udatta and something having udatta on the first syllables. So it's a bahuvrihi. So it's exocentric compound here. We will come back to this exocentric later. Yeah. Okay, so here you find it detailed explanation and also some examples. So it is preserved in Kashika. Kashika Vritti, I think. Kashika Vritti. It's also, it's actually the commentary, or not really commentary, but kind of commentary with examples. To Ashtadhyayi. So Ashtadhyayi. So I just write Asht. You know what I mean. Okay, so Kashika Vritti is actually commentary with examples to Ashtadhyayi. And then besides this Kashika Vritti, we also have the Vartikas by Katyayana. Vartika by, I think, I'm not sure, I think it's Vartika, right? So it's Vartika. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, it's Vartika. It's an supplementary rule, Vartika. Yeah, it's Vartika. Vartika by Katyayana. Well, Katyayana is really it's a very popular English name, Indian name. Sorry. And then we also, of course, we have Mahabhashya, which you already have experienced with Mr. Zhao's Sanskrit class, right? It's by Patanjali, right? Okay. And then we have later sutra, later commentaries like Udyota and Pradipa, but this is also this is actually kind of late and philosophical commentaries, but not really related to the linguistic content. Yeah， 就它后来的一些注释的话，就更多偏向于那个语言哲学类的。对对对 ，Siddhanta Kaumudi、Pradipa、Udyota， 对，这些的话都是更偏向。OK， 哦，谢谢。那个就有两个长音 ，OK， 就它更多的偏向语言哲学的讨论，有的时候就是哲学讨论了。OK， 但这两个的话就还是相对的维持在帕尼尼原本的那个语法体系。当然，帕尼尼语法本身你也可以说是一种语言哲学，就有一些内容了。那它主要还是对于这个语言本身的描述。So basically, Ashtadhyayi is kind of linguistic, if we put it kind of in a simple word. It's kind of a linguistic treatise. Yeah. But the following, the later, like Pradipa, Siddhanta Kaumudi, and Udyata, they're kind of philosophical treatises, philosophical commentaries. Okay, so this is basically for this sutra, and we can just read another, the fourth, and then we can make a stop by this one. So this next one is called Anudatta Sup Pit Ao. Yeah, okay, it's a little bit difficult to read. So let's check the translation. It's called affixes sup, triplets, and those with marker P as it have low-pitched anudatta vowels. Yeah. And this here, anudatta, is actually dual, 就是这个是双数 anudatta dual。然后呢，为什么是双数呢？因为它实际上是在说这两个东西。So why it's dual? Because it's talking about these two things. Which two? Soup and pit. So soup is actually we can check it later. Soup and so soup and the pit. Well, it's a little bit awkward to write it like this one. These are actually case endings. Yeah, and the case endings you also find it here. This sutra is pretty long, right? So sup ao jasam out shastra bhahyam ai. Well, I'm not good at reading this, but my Pāṇini teacher, Dr. Vilinska, yeah, she's really well versed in Pāṇini grammar. She can actually recite. She memorized a lot of sutras. Yeah. So actually, these are the case endings. 就是这个是格，的，就是名词变格的结尾。对，所以说名词变格的结尾呢，它是什么调呢？就是它是什么声调呢？它是 anudata， 它没有调。还有呢，the whole case ending, right? Yeah, the whole case ending. So actually, the case ending does not have accent. And to be specific, accent is called anudata. 就它有 accent， 但这个 accent 呢叫 low pitched， 就是降调。对，所以大家可以看到这里是比如说drishat 就是看到，就是看见，是一个分词，然后表示两个看到的人，表示两个看到的人是 drishat ao， 然后这个 ao 的话是一个双数的结尾，对吧？然后根据这个语法规则呢，我们知道就是这个语法结尾是没有重音的啊。So according to this rule, the case ending does not have an accent, so it is low pitched. So we do not have accent here. And then the second one is called pitcher. Now what is pitcher? P is actually now comes the second question. Fourth question. Which compound is this one? 就大家看到这个会非常诡异，对不对？就是这个，我问这个问题，大家可能会觉得非常诡异，这根本不是一个梵语，对吧？ So this is not a Sanskrit word, and why should I ask this one? 就是这个就是帕尼尼语法最奇特的地方，就你明显可以看出来，根本不是正常的梵语，你在梵语字典里查不到这个词的。就是大家如果写的话，是这么写的，就是我大写实际上告诉大家这个是一个数序，但如果你在写本上抄下来的话，就这么写的 picture， 然后这个 picture 根本就完全查不到的，你根本不可能，大家不信的话可以查一下，大家可以不信我的话可以查一下，你根本查不到这个词的。查到了，不好意思，这个有点意外，但这个完全不是我说的这个 pit， 这个 pit 是个动词，词根叫那个 to sound， 就 assemble， 就完全不是这里的意思，有点尴尬是吧？是 ，OK， 好吧，可以查到 pit， 但这个 pit 不是我们这个 pit，OK， 好 ，OK， 行，那我们继续回到这个问题，如果我告诉你 pit 是一个复合词，看起来不像对吧？那大家猜一下这是什么复合词？我还是把这个复制过来，大家还是选吧。大家我把这个去掉，好，大家还是选一下，这 pit 到底是什么？OK， 对，另外两位你们就可以不用发声了，就是另外两位，在日本或者是将要去日本的两位朋友，你们就不用选了，我默认你们肯定是知道的 ，OK， 是，就是我所以跟大家讲了，帕尼尼语法真的不是正常的梵语，就它就一套那种机械逻辑的，就是这种，它就是一套怎么讲呢？就是它真的是不是正常的梵语，它是一种类似什么电脑编程，你都可以说是电脑编程啊，就其实真的是的。现代有一个方向，就是研究帕尼尼语法的方向，就是把它和计算机语言结合，如何就是用计算机语言来研究帕尼尼语法。Okay, so if I tell you this is a compound, right? And which compound is this one? Again, it is actually a Bahuvrihi compound. Why? The meaning is those with marker P as IT. So this is typical Bahuvrihi. So Bahuvrihi is having something as something. So this is the typical Bahuvrihi Bahuviti translation， 就是你一旦看到Bahuviti，一旦看到多才式，它的最简单、最方便，就是你哪怕不认识任何词，就是我随便写了一个，我告诉你，我写了一个词，它叫 xy， 我写了一个词叫 xy， 然后我告诉你 xy 是个复合词，我告诉你 xy 是个多才式，那你怎么翻译这个东西？你就翻译成 having x as y， 或者having y as x， 这个都其实可以，或者是 having， 或者呢还有可能一种情况就是 having x y， 就是 having x y 就是拥有这个东西，就像多才式一样，就是 having many rices， 就是有很多having much rice，having a lot of rice。OK， 多才式，对 ，OK， 好 ，OK， 所以说呢，这个 pit 的意思就是说 having p as it， 那 it 是表示一种technical term， 就是把拥有 p 作为它的那个语法标志，就这个意思。那什么叫拥有把 p 当成语法标志呢？就是说这个东西它有一个 p 在里面，然后呢作为它的一个语法标志。那比如说最经典的就是一个叫 sharp 这个是一个非常重要的一个Pāṇini语法的术语，它是在构成那个时态的时候，就是比如说现在时，你需要加一个词缀，对吧？那这个词缀我们就统称为 sharp。就 sharp 它不是一个具体的一个词缀，它是一个统称，就是告诉你在构成现在时的中间你需要插入一个词缀，然后这个我们统称为 sharp。然后这个 sharp 在某一些情况下它就是一个 r， 所以在这种情况下它就是一个 Pāṇini。OK， 好吧。好 ，anyway， 大家通过我讲的这些东西有大致的一个理解了，对吧？就是帕尼尼语法大概是什么，然后我们怎么来构成一个名词，怎么来构成一个 substantive。Okay, and before we make a stop, let's have some questions. 什么？张老师写了很多话。OK。对，对呀，就是说实话，有的时候这个英语翻译都不一定能看得懂。就是你如果完全不了解帕尼尼语法的话，你首先需要去大概了解它的逻辑是什么，然后你才能看懂它的这个翻译。而且这个翻译有很多括号在里面，可能会非常的混乱。对，对，所以说帕尼尼语法是一个比较专门的一个学科，是需要专门去学的。OK， 就它真的不是入门语法。对。Okay, so before we make a stop, let's have some quiz for the pause so question. So what is the instrumental singular of ātman? Okay, so you put it yeah, I put it here, and then so we have Lajan, it is kin, right? And the instrumental singular is called Lajnya, right? And there's a word called Mahna. So this is also instrumental singular. And from this instrumental singular, the nominative singular is called Mahan. Is it true or false? Okay. So this is two questions you can think about. Okay, probably a third one. The third one is the word. So check it. So pay attention now. I will show you the question and then wait a minute. So in Rig Veda, we have a word called aśman, right? And aśman means stone, stein, right? Aśman, right? Means stone, right? I just write German. It's pretty simple German. I think you all know it. Right? Yeah, it's called Stein, right? And in Rig Veda, we also have another word called aśman. Aśman. It's also called Stein, right? Called aśman. Yeah. It's also called Stein, right? Okay, my question is, which one is older? So that's 3 questions, and I leave it to you for discussion or for thinking. Yeah. The first question is, what is the instrumental of ātman? Instrumental singular of ātman. And then the second one, we have Rajan. It's called king. The instrumental singular is Rajnya. And there's another word called Mahna, the instrumental singular. And so the nominative singular is Mahan. Is it true or false? The third question, there are 2 words in Rig Veda. So I check Rig Veda dictionary. So they are pretty old, yeah, of course. And we have 2 forms. The first one is called aśman. Yeah, if you, accent is here. Yeah, accent is actually not very important here. The first one is called aśman. The second one is called aśan. And which one is older? Okay, so I make a stop, and we will come back to the questions later. Yeah. So I started recording, and let's talk about, let's check these examples. So actually, the word ātman, if you check Sanskrit dictionary, so if you check classical Sanskrit dictionary, we can find it, right? Okay. So ātman, wait a minute. Yeah. Yes, you find it, right? So ātmana akarot, so he did it by himself, right? So this is actually correct. This is correct in classical Sanskrit. Yeah. So we have a sentence like, ātmana akarot. So he did it. So he did it by himself. So with himself, right? It is actually correct. Yes. But not only this one. Let's check it. Let's check the Vedic dictionary. So in Rig Veda, what is ātman? So in Rig Veda, ātman, I think we can, it's a pity we don't have it here, but we can check Meyerhofer. So in Meyerhofer, let's find it. Let's check Meyerhofer. Yeah. So find it. So take a look. So ātman means breathe, right? Also soul. So actually, this is also a very interesting connection between. Wait a minute. 我是不是应该再把声音关掉？以防万一，我先把声音关掉吧。不好意思。Okay. So actually, in the Rig Veda, you see ātman, the instrumental check it. So this is the normal. So nominative, we have ātman, right? And accusative, we have ātmanam, right? Ātmanam, right? But in instrumental singular, it's really weird. It's called tmana. It's called tmana. It's really weird, right? Dative, it's called tmane. Yeah. Okay. So why? They look so different, right? They look so different. So it's called, this one is called ātman. And the second one is called tman. Yeah. Tmana, right? Yeah, it's called tmana, right? It's really, it's so different. And also this one is called tmane, right? So why? This is this is something we need to answer, right? Yeah. So it means yeah. So it means we have kind of a Ablaut here. This is actually Ablaut, and this goes back to the Ablaut structure, or the Ablaut of the man suffix. So this man suffix is used to build nouns, substantive, substantives, yeah, or nouns, yeah. Okay, so this is a man suffix, and this man suffix has a special Ablaut. And if we want to know the Ablaut of man, we can of course check the grammar by Gotor. So let's check it. Gotor. Okay, so in Gotor's grammar, we find, wait a minute, I need to find, yes, here. Yes, this one, yes. So this is a ātman, or ātman is probably not really ātman. Probably this one. Wait a minute. I need to check first if Gotor talks about ātman. Wait a minute. I need to check the paper version with the index. So ātman. If you have the book, you can also check it. So it's on page 40. So page 40. Yes, it's here. It's here. You can see here it talks about ātman, right? So here you find information on ātman. So this is man stem. We have aśman, stone, right? We also have ātman here. We also have ātman here, self here. Okay. So why do we have these special forms? Because this word has the Ablaut is called wait a minute. I think it's Amphidynamic. Yeah. Yeah. So this Ablaut we have a special name called, this is a Proterodynamic. So it's called Proterodynamic, or perhaps Amphidynamic. So what is the meaning of these two things? We actually talked about these two things earlier. So I copied here, Proterodynamic. So this is the Ablaut pattern. So this is a special Ablaut pattern called Proterodynamic and Amphidynamic. So it is, in this case, both are correct. Actually have two different mixed, yeah. Okay. So what is the Proterodynamic? If you want to know this thing, there's a book you can check. This is a book we already mentioned. It's a book by Michael Weiss. We mentioned once. It's a little bit complicated last time, but probably. So if you check this chapter, it's called Accentral Paradigms, right? It talks about the accentral paradigms. It's also the Ablaut pattern. So in Indo-European languages, we have first acrostatic. It's kind of static. The accent is always on the first part. So we can analyze a word. We can divide a word into three parts. First part, root. So it's first part, root. Second part, suffix. Third part is ending, right? So suffix is what we are talking about here, man. And the root is called art here, right? We can talk about the etymology of art later, but now it's not very important. So we have art, and the ending for the instrumental, right? So for the instrumental, it's a a, right? So actually, we basically have these three parts, but it's not as simple that we can put these three things together. 就对于这个词来讲，我们不能简单的把这个三个部分组合起来。这个的话就是，这其实，怎么讲呢？也不是不能，就是说在经典梵语当中的确就是这么干的。大家看哈，在经典梵语当中的确就是 at 加 man 再加一个 r， 对不对？三个部分。但是呢，经典梵语这个并不能体现，就并不是它最初的形式。那最初的形式事实上是存在元音变换的。So the very beginning stage of Sanskrit, the Vedic Sanskrit, it has Ablaut. And this Ablaut is called Proterodynamic. So Proterodynamic, let's move on to the part is called Proterodynamic or Proterokinetic. So dynamic and kinetic, they are actually similar things. So for this pattern, we have this, how to say that, these two forms. So for the strong forms, right, R, we have accentuated A stage, right, and then the suffix is zero, yeah, suffix is zero, and the ending is also zero, yeah, so ending is zero, and for the weak stem, weak forms, yeah, the root is zero, and the suffix is a, right, and the ending is again a. No, sorry, again a. So we have an example here, yeah, right. So let's talk about this word. So for the strong forms, we have ātman, ātmanam, right? Okay, so this is accusative singular, right? Okay. So we will talk about it. It's a little bit complicated, but I hope you can understand. And the weak form, we have, so what is the weak form? Weak form is called tamana, right? Okay. So weak form is mana. So it's instrumental, instrumental singular, okay. Okay, and then let's move back to the root. So what is actually the root? The root is called eight. So this is the root called eight. So the root is actually in E grade. So in E grade, the root is called eight. Right? So this is the A root. And how do we know it is laryngeal 1? Because in Sanskrit, you cannot distinguish between laryngeal 2, laryngeal 3, laryngeal 1, right? So how can we know it's laryngeal 1? Because in Greek, we have a word called ator, and this ator is actually connected with. I just typed the Greek alphabet without any accent. Yeah. So because in Greek we have ator, and this ator is actually tells us that it's a first laryngeal, right? Yeah. Okay. So, and the meaning of Greek is also very interesting. Yeah. The meaning in Greek is heart. Yeah. So it's really something. It tells us that your soul, your breath, and yourself, and your heart, and these things are closely related in the ancient Indo-European society communities in their conception. 就是对于古老的印欧人来讲，他们灵魂啊、心啊，这个是联系在一起的。对，他们觉得自己灵魂是在心那里，或者是等等之类的。Okay. Okay, and then let's talk about the 0 grade. So 0 grade, you just delete the A, right? So for 0 grade, you just delete the A, right? Okay, and then you have T, right? Laryngeal 1 and T. So let's check it. So let's first check the strong forms. The strong forms, we have the A grade, right? So we should put this A grade here. Okay. And then the 0 grade of the suffix. The suffix, take a look. The suffix is called man, and originally it comes from man. So this is original man. Yeah. You also have it in Greek. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So this is the A grade, right? So this is A grade of the suffix. It's called man, right? And man becomes man in Sanskrit. So we need a 0 grade. So what is the 0 grade of the suffix? So 0 grade suffix is I can't pronounce it, sorry. N. So you have n, right? Okay. And then we should put n here, and then we plus a 0 grade, right? So 0 grade of ending. So ending, we have here accusative. Accusative ending is M, right? So this is what we actually expect. But this will not turn to mana, right? So this is pretty tricky here. We have man here, and we have n here. So this n will actually turns into like na, and ātman, something like this, right? It will certainly not turn into mana. 这里能明白吗？就是我们按照这个规律来写的话，它实际上应该是这样的一种形式，对吧？那这样的形式，它在结尾的话可能会变成 arm， 对吧？原则上来讲是 r， 对吧？就是，但问题是这个东西，这个是非常扎眼，这个是非常有问题的，它不可能变成 mom， 对不对？好，那问题怎么办呢？问题出在哪里呢？好，这个就要回到刚才 Goto 所说的。Goto 说啊，这个词事实上并不一定只是 Proterodynamic， 它还有可能是 Amphidynamic， 就是说一种混合的。那就是说，其实在很早的时候，这两种就在这个词当中，它很可能，就可能混起来了，大概是这样。OK， 好，然后这个词在那个 Proterodynamic 里面，wait a minute， so this is something different here. Okay, so actually for amphidynamic, we have all here. So in amphidynamic, amphidynamic or amphikinetic, it's the same. We have actually this pattern. Right? So this is a pattern for amphidynamic strong form. Okay, this one, let's check it. How can we make the form? So this is A, it's fine. And this is all, we should put it all here. And this is M, right? And then take a look. In Sanskrit, it becomes R and and then this is more in open syllable, right? So in open syllable, all will turn into a long A. It's called Bookman's law, right? And then this is R, and it becomes art. So ātmanam. This is the reason why. This is actually amphidynamic plus proterodynamic. Okay, and then let's check the weak form. The weak form look like here. So let's check. So this is 0 grade, right? So 0 grade, we delete this a, and the suffix is a grade, and then we plus a man here. And then the case is 0 grade, but not really 0 grade. It's still A grade. It's laryngeal 1 at the very end. So still, it's a little bit mixed. Yeah, it's a mixture of amphidynamic. So amphidynamic ending is A grade. So instrumental. So instrumental ending is actually A. So this is actually A grade. So this is actually 4 grade, okay, or 4 E grade. So this is actually an E grade. Yeah. Okay. Okay, and then let's check it. So this is 0 grade root, A grade suffix, and also A grade ending. And then we can have this laryngeal at the beginning vanishes, disappears. So we can have it. Check it. So laryngeal at the beginning disappears, and the man becomes ma, and this becomes a. Now this is the reason why we have tamana here. Okay. 这个有点复杂，对不对？你们能明白吗？我就有点担心你们会不会觉得很混乱。可以明白吗？可以明白最好。对，是有点复杂，对吧？但是你们知道这个逻辑就行了。你们要知道这个逻辑，就是说，逻辑是什么呢？就是它是存在 Ablaut 的，就这个 man suffix 是存在 Ablaut， 然后这 Ablaut 它有固定的 pattern， 然后这 pattern 呢主要是有2个，一个是 Proterodynamic， 还有是 Amphidynamic。OK， 然后 Proterodynamic 的差别是 Proterodynamic 是这样和这样，对。然后呢 Amphidynamic 是中间有一个 S， 就是差别其实中间有没有 O 的。 其实差别就是在这个 suffix 的接这里，就差别就是在这个 suffix， 就 suffix 在 Amphidynamic 里面中间是个 all grade，所以你才会看到 manam 这种形式 ，OK。然后呢，但其实那个它有的时候会混合起来，就是会把这两类混合起来，所以大概是这样，好吧？就是大家如果觉得太复杂，也可以忘记它，没关系。就你只要知道那个man 这个suffix， 它是存在 Ablaut 的，然后这 Ablaut 的话会使得它开头的这个音啊，就是这个开头的给大家看一下，就这个 Ablaut 会使它的开头的这个说啥？哎，怎么这么多照片？就这个 Ablaut 会让这个开头的这个音发生变化。它原来强语干的话是 art， 然后弱语干的话会变成 t， 对。然后还有一句话就是我之前跟大家说过的，就是如果你看到这种变化，或者这种变化，就是如果它存在这样的交替，就是存在 r 和 zero， 或者 r 和 e。你存在这样的一种交替的话呢，八成是因为有那个喉音在里面，八成是追溯到一个喉音，那大概就是这个问题。好，那讲完这个之后，我们就回到那个下一个问题。下一个问题呢是说，这个拉酱这个词和拉吉尼亚，对吧？这个其实是没什么问题的。这个呢，说明这个拉酱这个是一个 ain stem， 是 a 或者是这个是一个 ain stem，ain stem，OK。但是呢，这个形式 mahna 事实上并不是一个 ain stem。那为什么呢？我们先来看这个词，这个词叫 stone， 对不对？我们也看到过，我们也看到过，我们去查费格字典 ，aśman， 对不对？有的，对不对？好，然后还有一个是 aśman， 对不对？好，大家看好了 aśman，出现的次数，就1、2、3、4，对不对？4处。那 aśman 出现的次数，非常非常多，对不对？好，所以来问大家一个问题啊，这个是many times， 然后这个是 four times，only four times，only four times， 所以so many words occurring many times are older than words only a few times。 好，true or false？ Great， 太好了！你们上我的课 ，OK， 太好了！我很欣慰，没有人选 true， 对吧 ？OK， 你们上我的课，已经小有成就了，就是能够知道不能够因为一个词出现的更多，所以它就更古老，这是不对的。你不能因为它更多，就是更常见，所以它就更古老。还想写3吗？好吧。那我们怎么来判断这个词到底是不是更古老呢？对，其实不一定，对，其实应该是不一定，对，应该是not really， so it's actually not not really， yeah， 应该是不一定，对，就是说你不能因为一个词出现的次数多，所以说它更古老，就是频率 frequency does not equal to age， 就这两个是没有关系的，就是一个词的频率和它的年代早晚是没什么关系的。对 ，OK， so then how can we tell which one is older? We need to use comparative evidence. comparative evidences. Yeah. So what is the comparative evidence of aśman? So let's check the dictionary. It's pretty simple. Yeah. So let's check the etymological dictionary of Sanskrit, right? Yeah. So this is the word aśman, right? So how can we know it is a man, not a an? How can we know it is man but not an? Because in Greek we have the word called ātman. So in Greek we have ātman. Ātman. So this mon, this is mon. Okay, and then we also check it also in Lithuanian. It's called aśman, and also aśmens. And also we have in Old Persian, it's called aśman, and also in Avestan, it's called aśman. So we need to use comparative evidence, and we know the original stem is actually a man stem. Okay, so originally it is a man stem. Okay, and why do we have this aśman? And why do we have this aśman in Rig Veda? Aśman, yeah, and also the genitive is called aśmanas. Yeah, so let's write it. So we have aśman, right? And the genitive is called aśmanas, right? And the instrumental, I think it's instrumental, aśmanas. No. So it looks like it's an stem, right? Why? Why we have it? First, we need to go back again to the Ablaut pattern, right? So the Ablaut pattern for the weak form. So let's, well, not this one. No. So probably, I'm not sure. Yes, so for the amphidynamic, wait a minute. So check it. So this is amphidynamic, right? Amphidynamic. So what is, so the pattern for the amphidynamic, let's move on. So this root, we know the original form is aśman, right? So this is the original form. Okay. And it is amphidynamic, and the pattern is actually this one, right? So we need to use a 0 grade suffix. So the 0 grade suffix, as we can see, this is E grade, right? And the 0 grade is actually N, right? So this is 0 grade. Right? So let's put this stem plus this na, and then plus the ending, right? Or as. So we have something like aśmanas. Yeah. So this aśmanas will kind of turn into aśnas. Yeah. Because you see, this is a 3 consonants, and these 2 are similar. This is both nasals. Yeah. In this case, it's not. In this case, yes, in this case, you can say this is this is 3 consonants, and then you can you should make it into a consonant. You should make it into a vowel, right? Okay. Yes.其实可以这么解释的，这是一种方式，对，这是一种方式。那其实根据其他语言的形式， So actually, based on the other forms, well, we have another explanation. It's called actually genitive singular in Vedic. It's called aśmas. Yeah, aśmas. And also in Avestan, it's called aśnas. So let's check it. So this is one of the explanation. You have aśmas, and then you can analyze it as aśanas. Yeah, right. So this is one of the explanation. Okay, and another explanation is this does not occur. You see, this is aśna and aśnas. Yeah, right. So we actually have aśnas, right? And this comes from originally aśman, and this is kind of this sma becomes m. So there's a special sound change between the sibilant plus a m. They will become simply a m. Yeah, this is a sound change. Sibilant plus m becomes m. This is a special sound change. So then we have this. Oh, sorry, s. Sorry, s. Yeah, sibilant plus m becomes sibilant. It's a mistake. Yeah, 不好意思，口误了。就是你有一个当你有一个m 这个音的时候，它和思音在一起的时候，它会变成一个单独的思音。对，然后这个问题的话，你可以去 check 那个 Meyerhofer 的Indo-Germanic Grammatic， 我不知道这里有没有写，我看一下。对，这里那大家看好，this special sound change is actually mentioned in Meyerhofer LL, so Lautlehre. So Meyerhofer, so MLL is actually Meyerhofer Lautlehre in Indo-Germanic Grammatic. Probably we're not going to talk about today, but we can check it. I can show you where you can find it. So it's mentioned. It's a special sound change mentioned in the Indo-Germanic Grammatic by Meyerhofer. So this is this book, Indo-Germanic Grammatic, and the first volume. The first volume has two parts. The first part is Introduction, Einleitung, and the second part is Lautlehre. Okay, and for Lautlehre, we should check page 159. So page 159. Sorry, page 159. Page 159. Yes. Zu beachten ist, dass M in der Sequenz Konsonant MN war nicht silbischer wurden, sondern schwand. So this is occurred in some context. For example, this one, aśman, stone, the genitive is called aśnach. And originally we have aśnach. But in this case, this is sibilant, and plus a m, the m disappears. So this kind of a special sound change, you can find it in the book. I think it's an article probably. I'm not sure. By Johannes Schmidt in 1895, about 120 years. Yeah. Okay. So there's a detailed discussion of this development. Yeah, sound change. Okay. Yes, as I explained, it's a little bit complicated. Yeah. Okay. So this is actually not really the case. So I put a dagger. I put a dagger here. Yeah. I tell you that it is actually not really the case. Yeah. Okay. Yes. 能明白吗？就是这里发生了一个特殊的音变，就是就这种情况下的话，这个 m 它会消失，然后消失之后的话会变成这种形式，对，有点复杂，但是怎么讲呢？就是大家可以知道一下这个是有一个特殊的音变的，对，在这里。OK，好吧，我觉得今天就差不多吧。我反正主要给大家讲一下，对这个有点复杂，我之前已经跟大家预告过了，就我这个课真的不是一般的入门课，就是讲的东西会比较怎么讲呢？会讲一些学术上的讨论啊，或者是比较比较 advanced 的东西，对，OK。其他人呢？其他人有什么感想或者是什么反馈吗？是不是觉得太复杂，不太好理解？然后，嗯，在思考。OK，可以的，好吧，好吧。OK，那行，那我做个总结吧。就是反正今天其实主要是一开始给大家读了一下那个帕尼尼的语法。So actually, let's make a brief summary of what we have done today. So today's Sanskrit class is actually devoted to the word formation or the nominal system, nominal stems of Sanskrit. So compound, we haven't talked about it. So probably next time we can talk about compound. Yeah. So for the word formation, we need suffixes, right? And there are actually two kinds of suffix according to the Indian grammar. The first one is called clit suffix. The second one is called tadita. The clit suffix was added to the root with some changes of the root. But basically, it's the root of the verb. Okay. But tadita suffix is kind of a secondary suffix, or added to the nouns or to derivatives. Okay. And then we check the Pāṇini grammar. We check the third chapter, especially for pratyaya affix. And then we read some sutras, and there are a lot of cross references in Pāṇini's grammar. And then we analyze and translate some sutras, right? Okay. And pay attention to the how to say that, the capital letters here are actually technical terms. They do not have concrete meaning. They kind of represent some technical functions. 就它主要是表示一种语法操作，或者是它有一种特殊的技术上的含义。它不是词义，就它不是词本身的意思，它是一种特殊的语法数学。对 ，OK。And then we talk about we choose example, namely the man suffix, because this is a little bit complicated. So R suffix is not that complicated, but we can still spend a lot of time discussing this R suffix. 就大家不要看它简单，但其实是会比较复杂，就这个 R suffix， 因为这涉及到印欧语当中的一类yes, this is called Anubandha。Yes, Anubandha. OK， 就是这个 R suffix 其实没有那么简单，因为它涉及到印欧语当中一块很复杂的一个材料，就是说，我可以给大家看一看，就是让大家相信我，这个完全不是那么简单的。就这个所谓的 R suffix， 它事实上是来自原始印欧语的 O。原始印欧语的 O 呢，它在构成名词的时候，它有4类，它可以分成4类，或者2类吧，就是阳性的是2类。那第一类呢，叫重音在前面一个音节，或者重音在词根上，它呢表示的是一种行为，就是动作action， 就是 nomina actionis 或者 norma actionis， 就是行为 action norm， 然后或者是表示抽象名词。抽象动词，抽象的动名词。 那如果它的重音在后面变成 raw， 就是 raw 是词根，然后它的那个重音在后面的话，它就会变成行为者动词，然后或者是被动动词。大家有没有熟悉这两个东西啊？大家能想想看，我上一次跟大家讲过分词这个东西吧？它为什么会出现行为者和被动这两个东西呢？就这两个听起来是相反的，对不对？为什么呢？就这个是行为者，就是 action， 这是 nomen agentis versus passive。为什么会相同？为什么会有这种两种截然不同的差别呢？就是因为它在构成这个词的时候，你可以有两种解释，一种是 endocentric 的解释，一种是 exocentric 的解释。对，那始终还是回到这个这种 exocentric， 它可能有两种解释阐释角度，所以就会出现所谓的这个 aunt， 它在梵语啊、希腊语啊，还有吐火罗语当中，它是主动，表示 doing something。但是呢，在 Hittite 当中的话，它是一个被动，就是涉及到这两个问题。对，那这种 r suffix 呢，它事实上也是有这种情况的。那我们下一次或者以后有机会可以具体谈一谈。OK， 好，we talk about this man suffix today, and because it has Ablaut, a little bit complicated, and we choose the word ātman. And the word ātman has two different instrumental forms. One is called ātmana, another is called tmana. And the detailed explanation I will not repeat. But just one thing, keep in mind, there's Ablaut here. And the Ablaut can change the form. And if we have this pattern, R and 0, so at and t, it means that there's a laryngeal here. Okay. Yeah, this is basically everything for. Yes, this is basically everything for today. And still one, I need to repeat again. Frequency does not correspond to age. These two things are independent. 就是频率和这个词的古老与否没有任何关系。就是你不能因为这个词出现的更常见，所以它是更古老、更正确，没有这个道理的。OK， 好吧，那今天要不就这样，那个，感谢大家，一直听到现在 ，a little bit complicated, right? Okay. So thank you very much for your attention till now. I know it's a little bit complicated, but I hope you can digest something. 希望你们可以消化一些东西。OK， 好吧，那要不就这样，然后大家周末愉快。So have a nice weekend and okay, enjoy the rest of the day. You are welcome. Yeah, it's fine. Thank you. Okay, see you next time. 星期一没有课，那个大家星期一的时候不用再来了。然后星期二我们会有一节，我看一看，星期二是对，星期二是第7次拉丁语课。Okay, so next Tuesday we have a Latin class. Yeah. Okay, so have a nice weekend. Okay, bye bye. See you next time. Okay, bye bye.